And Rory said, that's probably the neatest thing they've ever received. It was, the computer wasn't working good, and it was black and foggy, and they thought it was great. See, that's the difference. We expect so much. And the other thing I want to talk about quickly is the people there. One of my favorite people now there, her name is Debs. She's a single lady. The last time we went, she was like friendly, but had a lot of walls up, and you couldn't get through those walls. God has done a tremendous work in her life in the last 2 years. This girl is so spiritually filled and has such a love for God. We would go to her house after dinner. There were nights we prayed from 10 till 1:30 in the morning, and you could feel the Lord in that place. So that, like Carmen said, we ministered to them, but those prayer meetings, and little Maddie, their granddaughter, was there, and the tears, and just people letting go of garbage. You know, here we kind of hide it and we don't want to talk about it. These girls were confessing sins and struggles, but it was just the greatest thing for me, just to be with them and see that they're real people with real needs, and just praying for 2 and 3 hours. I'm like Carmen. We took something to them, but boy, what you receive. It's unbelievable. Come up here, honey.
Are we going to say something?
Yes. Talk about their buddies.
Who's that?
Keith, Kelsey, and Bill, and Daryl. Bill and Daryl.
Daryl. Hey, Fred, where's your picture?
I've got one.
Hi, Daryl.
No.
Well, you want to see my snake?
That's it. I prayed in men's group on Monday night before we left that Fred would see a snake.
I saw that snake. He was alive, and then he wasn't. They are really into killing yoga. The snake. It was fun. I saw Carmen kill the spider that I didn't want to kill, but anyways, the other fun parts of the trip. Obviously, every time I go on this trip, it's kind of like, why am I doing this? I got way too much going on. It's way too frustrating. The world just kind of is clogging my mind. I know, but I know that once I get there, it's all going to be good. And once again, God proved he is an idiot. Not a very smart guy. That we got there, and it was a great 2 weeks. We had a good time. To me, the vacationing part, going to Mary and Vic Falls was fun, but I was really wanting to get to the mission and spend time with the people. I felt kind of guilty that we took a little extra time having fun, but I know everybody else liked it, and that's what my wife, she sold the trip to some people. I know, she's the salesman in the family. Kind of drug them along. Hey, we'll go to Vic Falls if you come on the trip with us. Okay. That was good, but getting to spend time with the kids. One of the hard things is kind of getting yourself in their culture and understanding what's important to them. We are just wound so much different, and I learned that from talking to Rory and Judy and Debs and the others, that we have to kind of get where they're at, and sometimes it's frustrating for us, but we got there. The kids are great. The ladies went to did the tea. And I was, I don't know what the expression was, like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I was really anxious because I knew going with all these 80 kids, it's just kind of like, oh boy, 10 minutes tops, but it was 2 hours really turned out to be a lot of fun. And I kind of became the ringleader. I mean, they're making their paper airplanes, and I got Daryl and Bill to, kind of go along with thing, but Betty Jo stocked us up with toys. But just to have fun with the kids, and then they got bored. And we had we did the wheelbarrow races where I was grabbing the kids, making them. They were grabbing their legs, walking along. Well, then they got me down, and it took 4 of them to pick my legs up, and I did the wheelbarrow. But it was a fun 2 hours with the kids. And the simple things is what really makes you realize that we have to have so much in our lives. Kind of keeps it in perspective. What's important. spending time, we got to meet Keith and Kelsey, two kids that we sponsor. Kevin told us that Keith is the youngest head of household that social welfare services or whatever's ever found. So Keith's 5 years old, he was probably on 3.5 or 4, living in the bush, taking care of his younger brother. No family. And it was interesting because Keith was a great kid, but I could also tell that the wheels were always turning. He was a very street smart kid. It's a good thing that they got a hold of him because in 10 years, who knows what Keith and Kelsey would have turned out like. But a great fun-loving kid, but you know, you could just tell that at 5 years old, he had experienced way more than he should have, and had a lot of responsibility taking care of his little brother. Very impressive, but sweet kids, and you know, they really appreciated getting the simplest of things and spending time with them. Kids are great. Also, we forged some relationships. It was always, it's embarrassing to me, you know, but we're working on something, and Daryl's, well, go get, you know, somebody, or we get some help from somebody, and the guy standing next to me, you know who I am? Nope. I'm sure you're going to tell me. So we had Robson, became my friend. We had worked with him in the last couple of trips, you know, doing things. And then Cloud came up, who wore a hat last time with 9 on it, so it was kind of obvious. But Cloud came up. Remember me? No. But they always reminded, so it's kind of good that that whatever it is, that they've had a good time and have a relationship with us and enjoy that. I mean, it's kind of special to do that. I wish they were a lot closer. I told Rory and Judy that the hardest thing about the trip is I wish it was a 10-hour trip in a car that we could make, or a 3-hour trip, not 24 hours in an airplane. Because they really sincere, Christ-loving people. What else should I share, Betty Jo? It was fun. Our expectations of getting on their level is good, and it's good to kind of unwind and relax, get where they're at, and it's the simple things that really matter in life. Who's next?
Okay, even though I gave warnings, I guess I'm the only one that brought some pictures. I do have a few. As you can probably tell from what everybody said, the main thing with their culture and their society is relationships. Relationships are very, very important. Even if it's a stranger and you're walking along the path or the street or whatever, you never, ever ignore somebody. You say good morning or mangwanani or whatever it happens to be. If you ignore them, pardon me, but this is how Kevin puts it, it's like giving them the finger. I mean, they just really, really get offended if you don't recognize that they are there and say good morning. Relationships are extremely important. And I think over the years, this was my 8th trip, Daryl's 9. Those relationships have been building and building, and that's the neat part, is going back there and seeing our friends. You know, they've become friends. Go to the next picture. There's a group of us. I don't know if we need to dim the lights at all. Would it be better? Motley crew there. This was taken at Amiri in the middle of our safari where we had lunch, the lake behind us, and just a beautiful area. But just wanted to show this to show everybody that was there. We were especially excited to have our 14-year-old granddaughter and Daryl's 85-year-old mom with us. That was probably one of the highlights for me. I was hoping Maddie would be here this morning, but they're out of town. But for me, one of the greatest blessings was seeing the change in my 14-year-old granddaughter's life. She'd been going through some stuff that teenagers go through, but it's been kind of hard, and she just blossomed. And like Betty Jo was talking about, the prayer times, I kind of stayed out of that because I didn't want to be a hindrance to what she was going through and experiencing with these lovely ladies and with Debs and Aaron and some of the others. And she just blossomed. She just called me the other night. She's crying. She says, "Grandma, when do we get to go back? You know, I miss her." She is just so excited about all this. She's redecorated her whole room with African theme. One of the things I did when I was over there was took pictures of every single kid, kind of like we do school pictures. So we could send those out to sponsors, they'll have updated pictures. She wants a copy, we're working on that now, of every single one of those kids. She's going to put them up above her bed and each night pray for one of those children. And so these things kind of happened, and it was just such a blessing to this grandma's heart. Go ahead. Just a few of the pictures of the animals to show, yes, there were animals, and we did have close encounters of third kind. Picture on the left, that we were sitting on the little safari jeep, and yep, that's how close the wild animals came. They are used to being around people, but they are still wild animals, and we have to be careful. But it was kind of fun. Next picture. The giraffes. I just had to throw a few of these in for fun. Go ahead. The lions behind the cage, because they don't just go out and trap lions so they have them there. They usually take lions that are wounded or can't take care of themselves very well. But obviously they have to keep them behind the wire so they don't eat all the other animals, because the rhinos and everything are protected. One of my favorites is the lower one on the right. That is a sable, and they are just beautiful. Am I in the way here? No. Okay, go ahead. We did go to Vic Falls, so I threw in a couple of pictures of Vic Falls. Trust me, the pictures do it absolutely no justice. As somebody said, it makes Niagara Falls look like the Elkhart River. I mean, they were just that majestic and beautiful. The first view we came to was something like this. And I just got goosebumps and started crying because it was just absolutely majestic. And all I could think of was how great thou art. That we got to enjoy, even though we were there for the mission and stuff. 8, 9 trips, we'd never been to Vic Falls, and we decided to be over there that far, you know, who knows how many times we'll get back, we're going to do this. And to see God's nature in all its glory, go ahead. Was just wonderful. And there, of course, is Maddie and Betty Jo. Is that you? I don't know. Somebody out there. They're enjoying being on the rocks. And go ahead. And some of the flowers, just some more of the nature and the beauty over there. Go ahead. Okay, one of the highlights for me personally was 2 years ago when we went. I had the privilege of helping start the very first library around that area at the mission. It was the old clinic. I mean, from ground up, from the cleaning and the reconstruction and the painting and the cleaning and the getting the books ready and the cleaning and the took a lot of time. So by the time we left in 2015, the bottom 2 pictures are what the library looked like. I couldn't wait to see it now because I knew a lot of work had been done. Go ahead. That's the library now. And to walk in, when we first walked in there, from 300 or 400 books to now 6,000 or 7,000 in just 2 years, I was just blown away. Next picture. That is Sarah. She oversees the library. I trained her when I was over there 2 years ago to use the library program and how the library works. She picked it up just like that and has just done a fabulous job with decorating and reading with the kids and just doing lots of stuff with them. And she is just a godsend. So it was so neat to see how much the library has grown, and the kids love it. Even like Ian and Heidi's kids, they just love going to the library. 2 years ago when we were working on it, there was one little gal in particular, probably 14, 15 years old. She'd come every day to see the progress. How's it coming? But when we got to the point where we were starting to put the shelves and books in, she walks in and goes, "This is the most beautiful room in all of Eden's." I mean, she just could not wait for that library to be open. They've never had books of their own before unless somebody's, like a sponsor, would send them. And so this was so exciting to her to be able to actually get books and read them. And it was just fabulous. Go ahead. Again, the big thing was relationships, meeting up with old friends. There's Anyway. Maddie got to know Anyway when he was over here several years ago, and was so excited to see him. Go ahead. You heard Betty Jo talk about Debs. That's Debs in the bottom left-hand picture. Erin was another gal that was there on the trip with us. Keep Erin in prayer. Can I share about Erin? Erin is in residency to be an OBGYN. She's also been fighting cancer for several years. And it kind of comes and goes, and she feels good sometimes, and sometimes she doesn't. She is a remarkable young lady. Between she and Debs and Betty Jo and Carmen and a few others, Maddie really reached out to them. And the young gal, I can't remember her name, that Maddie's hugging there, they became really good friends while they were over there. And through all of this, Maddie blossomed and a life has been changed. And not just the highs you get on when you go on mission trips. Her life has truly been changed because of this experience. And it's just been a blessing to see. So yeah, meeting up with old friends and making new friends. Go ahead. And just some neat pictures of playing with the kids. Go ahead. We had lots of fun. Go ahead. Just different things. We did a Bible school, and that was lots of fun, different activities. Go ahead. Go ahead. Talked about the sewing. I thought I had you in the picture, Jan, but I didn't. This was from Maddie's camera, so there's Daryl's mom, and just some of the different activities they were working on getting ready for convention, okay? Daryl and Fred spent a lot of time painting laundry or clothesline poles. They needed new ones desperately because they don't, the cottages, they don't have washing machines and dryers. They do everything by hand and have to hang them up. And these poor ladies, they have to do so much, and the poles were getting bad. So how many poles did you guys end up painting?
Too many.
What, like 8? Huh? Probably 20. 25, 24?
20.
Bunches. About 20 poles they ended up painting to get ready. So we took all the clotheslines for that and everything. So yeah,
Our better side.
they had a lot of fun doing that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. And like someone mentioned, the neat thing also was going, one night we would go to the cottages, 2 or 3 people to each cottage. And if you had a sponsored child, you went to that your child's cottage and had a meal with them. Sudza is a really, really thick cornmeal. They make what they call a relish. It's lots of greens like kale and spinach and maybe a little meat broth, that kind of thing. If they have tomato, they put in there. You take the sudza, the cornmeal, scoop it up and then scoop the greens up and you kind of eat it that way. We had forks, thank goodness. But meeting your sponsored child is just one of the highlights. Go ahead. These are some of the kids that Bill and Jan sponsored. Go ahead. There's Betty Jo and Daryl's mom with their little guys. Go ahead. And that's our little guy. Obviously, we were very happy to see him. And for the second time, we just started sponsoring him a few years ago. Our first little gal and some of Betty Jo's and Fred's kids are now grown and married. And so we have little grandkids over there now. Go ahead. Still at the cottage. When they were out, the guys were babysitting the kids at the village so the ladies could come to the tea. I heard a story about Daryl. He was holding one little kid and his shirt ended up all wet. Go ahead. I had to throw this in. Because when people walk everywhere, and if you have to go to the bathroom, you just go wherever you're at. It doesn't matter. And so they're trying to clean up the area. So I just thought this sign was kind of funny. DOMA has been certified as open defecation free. The part beside has been was whited out. When we first got there, it said DOMA has been almost declared defecation free. By the time we left, it was. Go figure. I really questioned that. I just thought it was kind of fun. Go ahead. We cannot thank you. Maitabasa is one of their words for thank you. We cannot thank you enough for all your prayers, your support, and everything you do, not just for those of us that travel, but for everybody over there. It is an enormous 24/7 operation. People don't realize until you get over there. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go on, but the houses are here, and a mile away is the village where the kids are. And, another quarter of a mile is where the main production and things go on. It is huge. And we just appreciate everything that you guys do and have done to further God's kingdom. So, Maitabasa. questions, if anybody has any questions.
First of all, I'd like to say that we didn't have very many pictures of the clinic. A lot of us spent time in the clinic, cutting nerves, healing, patching wounds and stuff like that. If Will, you now know what Will looks like, so you can see it. But there are a lot of things to do, and a lot of things that you can get involved in. There's just so many, it's hard to catch all of them. But I do want to say that they handle, they're only open 3 days where they actually see kids, see people, and run to, I think it's like 500 to 1,000 patients a week that they, in those 3 days, so you can imagine. And it's a free clinic, so it's not costing anything, so your support helps fund a lot of the helpers that go out and pick some of these things. And everything is mostly herbal. They don't use pills or anything like that, so just to give you an idea. Well, very little. She just doesn't like it, so. Are there any questions, anybody? Dick?
Darrell, you mentioned early on that the election is coming up in March,
March.
and Gandhi is now in his mid-90s.
He's 95, I believe, and it's that what they say. They don't know. I mean, there was somebody over there, I can't remember. Kevin said they picked up, and this lady, they were taking her to a birthday party, I think he said, and she was 101 years old. So it's not unusual for people over there. It's highly improbable for me to realize that with what they don't have, that somebody lasts that long. But there are a lot of older people there, and they don't look. This lady was 101. I think Kevin said she didn't look like she couldn't have been older than 80. But he is, it's basically accepted that he will be replaced. There are, Kevin said, as many people as you count, but there's 5 major players, one of them being his wife, thinking that just because he was in charge, now she would be in charge, and that would be a disaster. This is a lady who goes to London and spent all the people in Zimbabwe's money to buy a hotel and a restaurant. We're talking billions of dollars, and they wonder why. One of the things you need to pray for is we support Kevin and Susan, but right now they're using the U.S. dollar. We send transfer funds over to them. They cannot, there is not enough money in Zimbabwe because it's been taken out by all the leaders. There's not enough U.S. dollars in their banks. The banks open at 9 o'clock and are out of money by 10. So they have to be, Kevin's employees, this is one of the things that's hard for them. They pay them, but to get their money, they have to go to the bank, which is a 3-hour trip to and from. So they lose a day of work every time they have to go to the bank. And they may have to go to the bank twice or 3 times to get paid if there's any money in the bank. Yeah, we were there. Well, you guys weren't there. I was there. I went to the grocery store when we were in Big Falls. There was a line. I thought it was going to the grocery store. It was out the door. And the bank, little bank, branch office bank in the supermarket was open. It just had opened, and they were already out lined up around the door to get money. Because, one of the things they use a lot of, you think you use a debit card? Nah, that's nothing. They don't, very few of them carry money. When you go to shop, it's surprising people don't hand the money and they go, what? You got money? Oh, good, we'll take that, They're glad to get money because there is very little money. And then they hand out these banknotes that Kevin says don't keep them because they lose 30% of the value as soon as you get them. So the biggest thing is that if you go spend money, you want to get rid of that money, and you spend U.S. money and they give you one of these banknotes, you get rid of it as soon as possible.
The government agency wouldn't even take their money.
Yeah, I remember.
One of the things to remember with elections coming up next year is during election time, it gets it can get very violent. The white Americans over there, Kevin and Susan, Mark and Helen, even though they could be in some danger, more Mark and Helen where they're at than Kevin and Susan. The problem is them being there, the natives, the nationals, having relationships with them puts their own people in a lot of danger. So we're hoping that they will come back during the elections and not be over there, because it could be bad, not just for them, but for the people they work with.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Kevin and Susan have been working on always. And I don't know if we'll let you know that there's a couple that has grown up with Kevin and Susan in the past, Tanner Patterson and Mercy, are now basically administrators for the school in the village, I believe. So they have basically stepped back. I mean, they're still overseers, but they've stepped back as the funnel force. In other words, when anybody meets the government, it's usually Patterson or Mercy. It's not necessarily Kevin or Susan. Now, Rory's still there. He's a native Zimbabwean, so he doesn't have quite as much, but he's still white. So, like I think Betty Jo said, women over there are down here, and white women are even lower than that. It's surprising to see their, that any of them have self-worth. So what the ladies did for these ladies is just amazing. Because Kevin said he couldn't believe, we were at the village watching the kids, which 2 hours of 80 kids running around in circles. I was glad to go back and paint clothesline. But the fact is that he was bringing some of the ladies back from the tea. They were still singing and dancing and moving around in the back of his car. Kevin says, I have never seen these ladies do this. This was great for them, that we actually showed them some appreciation for what they did. So, just to let you know. Any other questions?
Could you tell us briefly about becoming a sponsor?
Briefly about becoming a sponsor. Well, you just talked to Deb and me. Basically, there's some forms out there in the foyer. You fill it out. We contact Kevin and Susan. Kevin and Susan will then assign you a child. Basically, it's $30 a month. Not real expensive. I will tell you up front now with the expenses, the way the currency is and how expensive things. One sponsor will not take care of a kid for a month, but it's taking anywhere from 4 to 5 kid sponsors. So the more we can get, the better off it is for that kid. But every single cent, to give you an example, I've been doing this for 11 years. I've not collected 1 penny of everything, doing the checks, mailing anything out. Deb and I do not get paid for any of this. Nobody does. The only expenses, I think we are administrative expenses in the U.S. is probably less than 1%. Because all we do is buy stamps, envelopes, and mail things out. We've gone a lot to emails and stuff like that with that, so a lot of times we don't even mail them out. People just say, mail me a receipt in an email, so we don't even do that. But I run out anywhere from 100 to 200 envelopes because Kevin and Susan found out when they first went over there that sending out somebody out an envelope with a self-returned envelope inside that, there's a 75% chance that they'll continue to sponsor. If you just ignore that and just send them a thank you, it's like 40% chance that they will continue to sponsor.
And as far as sponsorship, if there's a certain, if you want, male or boy or girl, you can specify that, certain age. Otherwise, they will give you who's ever neediest.
Yeah.
You can specify, particular child, particular age, whatever. Otherwise, if there's kids that need sponsors, that's who you can get assigned.
In fact, yeah, a lot of that stuff, I know we need to wrap up, but a lot of stuff you have to understand. They get kids, they don't just go out and pick the kids off the street. This is social welfare has handed the kids in their care. They are well thought of over there. If a kid is in danger, they think the kid is in trouble, they come to Kevin and Susan and say, can you take him? They've never turned down a child. We've had children that have been found 4 days old in a dumpster and brought to Kevin and Susan. I think they just had one recently that's maybe 1 year old that was left in the middle of the bush. Just left. No parent around, no nothing. Was found and was brought to them. And they don't say no.